Hey, how's it going? Zixwala here. I'm at a Beachwood Coastal Estate. As you can see behind me, this is a brand new ultra luxurious estate in Durban North's most magnificent stretch of coastline. I'm here because stands, duplexes and apartments are being viewable for the first time today, and I couldn't say no to this invite because it costed about 3.5 billion rand. This is a low density residential development. So let's check it out. Zixwala, the brain picker. So next to me I have Gavin. Yes?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, and I didn't catch your name.
I'm George.
George the architect.
Yes.
Indeed. George the architect, when you started designing this, what did you have in mind? Do you mind if I stand in the middle?
No, sure.
When you say this, you're referring to
The whole thing, yeah.
A respectful, quiet, sophisticated and elegant development.
That's what you had in mind. So put that into perspective for someone who's not an architect.
Means that you have buildings which are well mannered and buildings which serve the environment and don't dominate it in particular. And buildings which connect indoors and outdoors. We have a wonderful climate. We need to capitalize on that and make spaces that are intermediate between private interior and more public exterior spaces.
Define the two, the one that you have inside and the one that you have outside. How friendly are they for both atmospheres?
Interiors are very personal things. We've created 3 palettes for owners to select and a broad range of different materials from an internal perspective to create warmth on one end of the spectrum and perhaps a little bit more slick on the other end of the spectrum. And then our idea is that those will then flow out to the exterior so that your interior and exterior divisions are blurred. And in this climate, subtropical climate, one would be looking for buffer spaces between verandas, screens, shading devices that mediate between interior and exterior.
I love it. Now, Gavin, what does it take to develop over 400,000 square meters?
I will start off with saying lots of patience.
Of course.
Because we've got to go through many hoops. We've got to go through lots of statutory applications like environmental applications. We've got to secure bulk services. For something as big as this, we don't just run one tap or 10 taps. We run thousands of taps, thousands of toilets, thousands of stoves and fridges. So the bulk services of electricity and water and sewage disposal is big for us, and to secure all those services, you can't just make a phone call. It's a lot of science in it, it's a lot of planning, it's a lot of applications to get the authorities on board. So it doesn't take a week, it can take months and even years sometimes. So you need determination, you need patience, and obviously you need a lot of experience as well.
Of course.
But of course, it's part of the course. You know, we're used to this kind of stuff, and yeah.
I mean, is this the first one you've ever done, the biggest in terms of square meters?
It's certainly not the first, and in terms of square meters, no, it's not the biggest. But in terms of money, it's the biggest.
Yes.
Because the rate per square meter here is probably higher than any other rate per square meter in eThekwini.
Yeah.
So in terms of money, certainly the biggest.
How does it feel being able to insert that into your resume? Yo, I've been part of 3.5 billion.
I think you know the best feeling, apart from the financial aspect, the best feeling is to make your end user happy, to make your purchaser happy. When you hand over that key and he's got a smile on his face and you've delivered according to his requirements and to his specifications, that smile is second to none. Okay? Of course, I'm not ashamed to say that yes, we make reasonable money out of this. you make money by going to work, everybody runs their businesses and make money. Yes, we make money as well. And to make money at this scale, yes, it's enjoyable. It's nice to have it at that level. We create a lot of jobs in the process.
Over 1,500.
Absolutely.
I mean, you deserve a round of applause.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Now, I want to know, as a developer, the challenges, the brand new challenges. It's like, oh, I have an experience in this field, but there are new challenges that I was not aware of. What were those for you?
So, one thing that it's been maybe not difficult, but kind of new to us is the amount of objections that we've had to the development. Obviously, a lot of people, and it's not that we've got issues with objections, because objections are actually good.
Yeah.
When people object, they present the reasons why they object, and some of those reasons are good for us because maybe we haven't thought about it, maybe we haven't covered it. So when somebody objects and they got a valid reason, we then address it. It's cheaper for me to address it in the early stages than at the end. So the amount of objections was pretty unusual for us. It's been a bit of a challenge that I don't normally have on all my other projects, but we're working through it. We're dealing with it responsibly, and we will overcome it as we have. And we're educating the people as to what we are offering, and as we educate the people, they then realize what we're going to be delivering, and slowly the objections wither away. That's a new experience for me, to see that volume of objections and to see them withering away as we step along.
Do you know how many entities are financially involved into bringing this 3.5 million to life?
So
Billion. Why can I say millions? Yeah, I'm not used to the millions. Sorry, it's billions.
entities from inception to when somebody moves into the home, between the professional teams, between the subcontractors, the contractors, all the service providers, we would then engage, in my view, up to 150 different entities.
Damn, that's a lot. That's a lot. Probably more, yeah.
And that would translate to thousands and thousands of existing job opportunities, let alone the new job opportunities. So we would be putting food into the mouths of thousands and thousands of people.
Now, you guys work together for sure.
Absolutely. Very close.
What did you hate about it? A lot. A lot.
His perfectionism. You know, he is so pedantic. Everything has got to be 100% right, otherwise it's not acceptable. And sometimes I want things to chase and I want to move, and he'll hold it up because he's got to fix it up properly before he releases it. Now me, I like speed. So what do you choose? Perfectionism over speed? Perfectionism, because at the end, this is what you see.
Absolutely.
With my speed, you might not have seen this.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And you, sir? What did you not like about him? His speed and you're slow.
No, not at all. There's nothing not to like, I must tell you. The most patient, even-tempered, sensible and direct developers you could meet.
Would you work with him again?
Absolutely, any day.
I know you wouldn't, because he's a perfectionist. Gentlemen?
I'm not his marketing manager, by the way.
Okay.
No. The end product, I'm so proud of it. George is on my team forever and a day.
Gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We love it. Unfortunately, I don't have 10 millions of rands laying around to purchase, but I'm sure you have your own target market.
Yes, we
Then,
do.
of course, invites. This is such a beautiful experience.
Yes.
And I love the fact that it is an over 400,000 square meter enterprise.
Yes.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so this pocket of coastal forest has been part of a conversation for over 6 years. And what's really triggered this estate is the environmental awareness and the developers' focus on rehabilitating the dunes. There's 17 species of birds that live here. There's a little iguana population. They've created little pathways for the iguana to walk from one part of the estate to the other. Yeah, so it's been a really, I think, thoughtful from an environmental perspective, and that's why all the permissions have come through now, and we're now able to launch this project. There are going to be 2 phases. The first phase is what we're launching today, 89 opportunities, and then phase 2 will be the launching of the signature golf course. So they're taking their existing Beachwood Golf Club and they're renovating, or they're upgrading the whole golf course. They're keeping 7 of the existing holes, they're adding 2 more, and it's going to be a signature golf course, so very beautiful and upgraded for this area. There are going to be loads of facilities, so yeah, it is exciting.
I did some notes for this. I would like to use your phone, please.
Okay.
Because, wow, this is very, very amazing. I don't want to lie. I was just like, I have to talk to you about all of this.
Yes.
And I've written down some notes.
Oh,
so I have
good for
questions.
you. Okay.
So I have questions for you.
Okay.
First of all, the landmark is significantly enhanced the area through ecological rehabilitation, of which is something you mentioned. I don't know what is ecological rehabilitation. What does that mean?
Yeah, so basically what they're saying is they have to preserve the life that exists on the dunes. So there's different species that all inhabit those dunes. So they've got to be careful about not disturbing the natural flora and fauna, and that's what they're doing. They're rehabilitating the dunes. They're making sure that they don't encroach on all the little animals and bird species that are already living here. They're preserving the milkwoods and they're preserving the mangroves. So it's very much an ecological estate, factoring in the environment and how can they make it work with the environment. Yeah.
So that's why there's also something tire, because it's closer to the highway.
Yes.
I don't know what about the tires and oil. What's all of that all about?
Yeah. So I don't know exactly what they've got planned there.
Okay.
But they've cleaned up the whole area. So they're cleaning up all the infrastructure here. They've sorted out there were huge stormwater problems here. You can't believe the stormwater on this estate and how much money has actually gone into the ground.
Yeah.
So this used to be a bit of a floodplain. And so they're fixing all of that for the residents. They really are upgrading this whole node. So I think it's going to be very good for property value in the area as well.
What I love about this is that it created over 1,500 jobs.
Yes, exactly.
Tell me about that. I mean, of course, you needed a whole lot of hands on deck for this one.
Yeah, so if you think about just the number of professional teams that the developers had to employ, over 28 groups of professionals, from builders to administrators, you name it, to environmental specialists, to landscape artists, to engineers, to civils. There's so many different jobs that are going to be created. And this development, because it's phased, those jobs are going to be created for several years to come. So we're looking at least from today to about 2028, 2029. So it's very exciting for the province.
We have water issue in KZN, in the country.
Yeah.
Water issue, but we have over 1 million litre of water reservoir. Who came up with that idea?
Yeah, no, that was the developers. I think one of their key concerns here was to make sure that all the owners in the estate would enjoy clean, filtered water and that they would never have a water shortage. So the reservoir is enormous. There's a massive water infiltration system here to make sure that they don't run out of water and they've got constant supply.
So if we're not going to run out of water living here, what about power?
So the same there, they have provided for inverters, so everything is inverter friendly. Obviously in the apartments you've got limited roof space to do solar panels for every apartment, but in the freestanding properties you'll be able to have solar as well.
This is an amazing one, I can see there. But who doesn't love to live an opulent lifestyle? But unfortunately, not everybody has the kachings, the Benjamins. That's money talks, right?
Yeah.
And the people who are living here are the ones who are able to afford all of that. And of course, we love it when we see people coming in here. Who are you expecting? Do you expecting South Africans to live here, or you expect people from other countries to come in as well?
So to be honest, it's been mostly locals. So a lot of South Africans.
South Africans had millions of friends hanging around. You shut the front door.
I promise you. A lot of them have actually moved, are relocating from the Berea. So from the Buria, Musgrave, Essenwood areas moving into this estate, a lot of locals who live in this area but want to get into a security estate. You must remember that if you look at the property value and price inflation on freestanding homes versus homes in security estates, security estates are inflating at a much faster rate. So they know that investing in a lifestyle estate is going to be a better investment. And of course, the position here is hard to beat.
What's different between a standalone and an estate? I mean, of course, a standalone is standing alone, but in terms of hazardous problems and safety nets, safety nets in South Africa, because crime is high. The difference between the two. Why would you encourage people to come into an estate?
Look, it's more expensive to buy in an estate because you've got homeowners association levies, but part of that fee is ensuring that you're not then paying for your own alarm, your own security. So if you live in a freestanding home, you're picking up all those costs anyway. When you move into an estate, the estate takes care of all of those costs for you, and you pay a levy, but you've got no maintenance. You've got all these amenities. If you live in Beachwood Estate, you've got access to a golf course. You've got a health spa, you've got a clubhouse, you've got restaurants, you've got children's playing areas, you've got safe walking and hiking trails. So you can run around the estate with absolutely no risk of feeling unsafe at any time. And what happens is because there's such high demand for estates, their prices are escalating faster than normal freestanding homes.
Let's say I don't like kids, and then I see kids playing around in my estate or in my property.
Yeah. So
do you have that planned out?
Yeah. So normally, well, in this development anyway, the children's zone is away from where the residential area is. So they've designed it really well. You've got the residential node almost on the north, then you've got the public facilities in the middle of the estate, and then you've got the golf club and the golf course on the south side of the estate. So it's very well designed. There'll be absolute privacy, peace, harmony, tranquility, and the children can make the noise in a different part of the estate.
In short, what would you say to people who are interested in coming to purchase an apartment here, but you have to tell them there?
Beachwood Coastal Estate is probably the most exciting development that Pam Golding's been involved in this area. This little strip of coastal land is impossible to beat. You won't get a better location. There's a golf course, there are amazing amenities, beautiful architecture. So my advice, if you're interested, give Pam Golding a call and come and check it out.
Subscribe, follow, and like Twala Media.